Alright, hi, welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to talk about the 0.20.1 update, which, along many things, introduced the chocolate factory, which I will start with. It's also the reason I didn't make this video earlier, because this feature was only introduced today. So, what this thing does is that it adds chocolate factory. This is an upgraded version of the cookie clicker minigame, and any cookies you have had with the cookie clicker have been transferred into chocolate and into this game, so you could spend it on employees. What this thing does is that you can click in order to get chocolate. By upgrading this thing, you can upgrade it to get up to 10 more chocolate per click, up to 11 per click. This will, however, quickly become worthless because employees make a lot more than that. But even employees are not the best way to get chocolate, because the best way to get chocolate are the rabbits you can find. There's a lot of them, to be specific 395, and they stay even when you prestige, which I'll get to later. To find rabbits, you will have to wait for the Hoppity's hunt to take place. It takes place for the entirety of the in-game spring, for early spring, spring, and late spring. It starts at the New Year Eve, and then 3 times every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a rabbit egg will spawn somewhere on the island you are on. They spawn on all islands, and if you go to multiple islands, you cannot get the same egg multiple times. Most people like to go to gold mine because they're easy to find there. There seems to be 10 different locations in which they spawn, but they do not spawn in specific order, and after a while they despawn. So if you remember the locations, you can quickly go to gold mine, get all the eggs, and then do whatever you were doing previously. Admins didn't intend for this to be something that people would actively do. You just have to get some passive income, and every once in a while just increase it, and then spend the chocolate you have either on prestiging, which will unlock more stuff and make the progression easier, or in the chocolate shop, where the most useful items are. First item in the chocolate shop is Supreme Chocolate Bar, which can be delivered to Caroline just like exportable carrots and expired pumpkins, in order to get 5 health and 12 fortune for the specific crop. You will need 3,000 of them, which is a lot of chocolate. So I will probably wait to get this later, because I'm not even sure if this gives SkyBlock XP. Another thing is Egg Locator, which locates the eggs, which will help you find them easier. This can be useful if you want to spend time on your island without having to go somewhere else. Another thing is the accessory line. First 2 of which require the second prestige, second 2 require third prestige, and the last one requires 4th prestige. These things increase your chance to find chocolate rabbits you haven't found, and also give you passive chocolate per second. And it is also an accessory which is, useful. Another thing is Dark
Cacao
Truffle, which increases your global fortune once you wait for 30 hours to have it in your inventory. You will get 1 global fortune from this, and you can consume 5 of them, which has been leaked through the forum bust. Another thing is Chocolate Syringe, which upgrades rabbit pets to Mythic rarity. I don't think anyone has gotten this yet, and last I checked, this is not on Wiki yet. If it is, you will see it as an image now. And the last thing is Zero Escape, which is legendary rabbit cloak, which has double stats during the Jacob's farming condense, which means it's going to give 20 fortune without even including reforge or enchant. So that's very good. It also gives farming wisdom, which is nice, and strength and ferocity, which is almost useless. There's of course rankings, because some people care about those, and there's also chocolate factory milestones. Once you reach a particular milestone, you will unlock a rabbit, which will be able to boost your production. The last one requires 500 billion chocolate. And once you collect multiple rabbits, you will eventually need to pay for a barn, otherwise your rabbits will be crushed and you will not get any. I'm not sure why this one is implemented, but it's something to keep an eye out. The newest version on Skyhand, which is currently only in beta, has features that help you with this, and I recommend getting it. I will, however, not provide a link to the Discord, because I wouldn't trust myself, and neither should you. I wanted to talk about prestiging, and then I forgot, so I'm just going to do it awkwardly while waiting to do something else. Prestiging requires a specific amount of chocolate gathered, so there's no reason not to spend all the chocolate you get. Once you did it, it will increase your chocolate production pretty vastly. It will increase the highest rarity of rabbits you can find. It will increase the amount of chocolate you can hold, which is useful because you cannot currently buy this thing even if you wanted to, and even if you could. It increases the level your employees can be, and it will keep your Hoppity collection, as well as your barn upgrades, so you can just get them over with, because you don't want to forget to do it, because otherwise something very morbid will happen. Another thing it is added are 2 new items in the dark auction, which I would normally show via auction house, and unfortunately there's a specific mirror which kind of forbids it. First of those items is Magic 8 Ball, which gives you stats associated with a random skill. This changes every season, and there's no season associated with a particular skill. It's a nice accessory to have, but Another thing is Sirius's personal phone number, which you can bid on in the auction, and you will get it as an item that you can then consume to gain the contact to Sirius. I have no idea what contacting Sirius would do, but you also get a discount when buying items from Dark Auction. You will probably get a notification that the Dark Auction is starting, but that's a speculation. I'm too lazy to Google that. Alright. So, what they did is that they modernized the Dark Auction room, as you can see. It looks better now. Another thing is that instead of that, they doubled the amount of servers that will open, so more people will be able to get in. And this is increased to tripled during Scorpius mayorship. And that is all I managed to read, so give me a second. They adjusted the order of items from item, book, item, flower minion to item, book, item, item, flower minion. Scorpius will have item, book, plasma nucleus or hegemony artifact, flower minion, metastaff, to item, book, item, and then the rest. And they also adjusted the weights of some items so they will appear in a different rates. Unfortunately, I have no idea how does weight work, so I'm just not going to react to that. There have also been some changes to, well, gusset tunnels, namely that they added a gold enjoyer over there, who has been moved to a less unique location. Gold enjoyer over there will explain the gold stats and how it affects your mining speed and speed. I should still have screenshots for that, so I will just show them on the screen again. Another thing that happened is that they added Gusset Golem Pet, which I will not be crafting because it costs 75 million coins. However, I do not need to craft it actually because it's not enough updates now. It gives you mining speed, gold resistance, more Gusset powder because duh. It also gives you mining fortune while inside Gusset Mineshafts, which is nice, and something that is perfectly balanced, which is 1 pristine for every frozen corpse you found. There can sometimes be 5 corpses, possibly 6. They added a pity system to the spawning of Gusset Mineshafts. You have a chance of 1 in 2000, and the 2000 will be reduced based on the quality of the block you are mining. Tungsten, Umber, and Gusset have the quality of 4, Mithril has the quality of 2, and Titanium has the quality of 8. These add up additively until you get a mineshaft or you enter one by getting warped by someone else. And there have been a lot of other changes, namely that the Helix emblem now shows the amount of commissions completed rather than the amount of Heart of the Mountain experience you have, because the latter was absolutely useless, and this might possibly be the best change of this update. Umber, Tungsten and Gusset now require 3 base fuel to mine, since I have Sunny Side Comlet that is doubled. The portable gunfire consumable which is available in Forge has been buffed to reduce the gold by 50 rather than 15, and its cooldown has been halved. All the mobs that spawn in Gusset Mineshafts now drop 50 Gusset powder instead of 10. There's also a perk in Heart of the Mountain which doubles it, which means it's possibly worth buying because that perk doubles it to 100. You have powder buff to make it 150, and yeah, that's pretty nice if I'm being honest. Speaking of those mobs, there's also a commission to slay them, which says to slay them in Gusset Tunnels, but they do not appear in Gusset Tunnels. I reported this twice and still nothing. They reworked Suspicious Scrap, so now that you can get them 5 times instead of just once. However, they fixed Paleontologist enchantment to be additive instead of multiplicative, which means they are very rare to obtain, and you can no longer obtain multiple from one mining, which was a bug with enchantments if I remember correctly. So that's no longer the case, meaning they are a lot harder to get. And good news, because fossils are now rare. Which means if you are an Iron Man trying to get all the fossils, good luck! Epiphones are now usable within Gusset Mineshafts and Gusset Tunnels, which means you're no longer screwed over if you got yourself an Epiphone instead of Royal Pigeon. They adjusted some forge items. Many items are faster to craft, and Gusset Amalgamation now requires double the amount of Gusset, but half the gemstones, which means it should be easier to obtain for normal people. Relic of Power now requires 1 perfect plate instead of 4, but requires half a stack of Gusset Amalgamations. They changed Frozen Corpses so that all of them are guaranteed to give some Heart of the Mountain XP as well as some powder. Lapis ones give 500 powder, 100 XP. Tungsten and Amber give 5000 powder and 1000 Heart of the Mountain XP, and one guard gives 25,000 powder and 5000 Heart of the Mountain experience. Shaft, which you have to do by clicking the thing behind you when you spawn, will now give you more gusset powder depending on the amount of stuff you have, depending on how much gold you endured, depending on how many suspicious scraps you found, how many corpses you have looted, and I think there's something else. And on top of just giving you powder, it also now gives you Heart of the Mountain experience. Another thing that gives a lot of powder now is if you get all 8 fossils to Dr. Stone, you'll now get 60,000 powder. I would be much happier if I knew that that is a thing, because I consumed it without having either Gusset Golem Pet or Double Powder event or Skymal perk to powder. So that's great. They swapped the stats of Glistening Reforge so that it gives now more intelligence instead of more fire mining fortune, which is the worst part about this update because it reduces your fortune in this maxed setup by 28 fortune, which is a lot of fortune. They adjusted the drop rates of many corpses. I will not go all over the drops, but it seems that Shattered Locket is now twice as common, which is nice, but it's still incredibly rare, and it's the only thing that justifies this update. Gemstone Crystal Mineshafts are now common from 10% to 25%, which is nice because I already got 4 of them while getting 0 before this update. And unlike on Alpha, there's no longer Crystal Collecting Commission. The Skeleton Key is no longer a universal key like it is in RPG games, because it would get consumed or Amber, which is very unfortunate, so now it can only be used on Vanguard, which Hypixel has referred to as some unfortunate events. They added a new pet rule which triggers when you first gain heat and when you first gain cold, greatly increase the amount of gusset powder you get from mining to 5 or 6 or 7, which I have no idea what that means, but as you can see it's going up pretty fast. They changed how fast Campfire works. It previously removed Oliver current instantly, and now it does it by 20 per second. And exactly how fast is that? Well, you can just warp base camp and then just walk in and it's 0. Great change, glad I see that. They added a new command, RNG, which will get you to this menu where you can select which RNG meter you want to see, which is convenient because you no longer have to talk to medics to get to it, because that would take very long, or you would have to go through skills to catacombs to profile to specific dungeon floor, and yeah, that took very long. You can also RNG Kata M7 in order to get specifically to RNG meter for Master Mode 47, or you can do Slayer Spider to get to Spider Slayer RNG meter and all the other options, of course. Another thing they did is that Voidling fanatics now have a low chance to drop Enderman pets, specifically epic and legendary ones. What's the chance, you might be asking? Very bad chance. The pet game pet food item has been reworked so that it's no longer soulbound. You can put it on Bazaar, and instead of giving 1000 XP, it gives 10,000 XP, which is better. They changed the Enderman Slayer level 9 perk so that it no longer affects specific creatures, but it now affects creatures marked as elusive, which are Special Zeals, Inquisitors, Elusive Animals, Vanquisher, Lord Jobus, Scafa, Golden Jerry, Raindrake, and Diamond Goblin as of now. Previously it only buffed very few of those, so this is a very nice change, especially for someone who has this perk. The Full Jaw Fanging Kit, which grants the Fanged Reforge, has been buffed to grant Vitality on all rarities and it is no longer exclusive to iron swords, because now it can be applied to any melee weapon, which is a nice change. I'm not sure if it's a good reforge, but it looks nicer certainly. They also reduced the amount of experience you need to skip the wait time for experiments. You still have to pay bits, which have been unchanged, but it reduces the amount of XP you need heavily. The last skip used to cost 400 levels, now it costs only 200. Another thing that happened is that they changed slayers so that you can no longer skip phases if you do too much damage. I haven't done slayers yet, so I'm not sure how exactly does that work, but this might make some people angry. And last important change of this update is that they changed that the visitors that spawn when you're offline no longer are exclusively uncommon, which this guy certainly does not prove. They explicitly stated that they can be rare and legendary, but there are two more rarities. They might have worked before, they might not work now, they might work now. Well, I don't know. So yeah, I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna make another one when relevant. So yeah, bye.